How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing: always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Lucid and as well as for SOFI. We saw a lot of strength inside of the markets today. We see they were able to post up green days. Let's see what they look like going into tomorrow. Let's start off with Lucid. So we ended up closing the day at $16.98, being up 3.28%. On the low, it tested $16.58, and then on the high, testing $17.23. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 10.405 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 13.144 million shares. So we had below average volume on the day, but we saw some strength in the stock. When we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see that we are still trading below all of our major moving averages, but so far Lucid has been looking bullish as of late. You can see that we have a higher low and as well as a higher high pattern that is forming, especially taking into consideration today we got to 1723 and we have the 9 EMA, which is at 1716. So the most bullish case going into tomorrow, if we could use this 9 EMA as support and being able to see if we can get a test going to $18. So I'll be keeping that on close watch, especially right here around the 21 EMA, which is at $17.84. A break above that level, then there's a strong likelihood Lucid can make that move going to $18. Now, if we decide to have a pullback, we did test a low at $16.58. So if we broke below that level, then I'd want to see support coming in right here around 1630. If we break through 1630, that's where we want to see some continued strength we have seen in the past, right at $16. But in my personal opinion, and also taking a look at the stochastics down below, if this momentum could continue, then I don't see any reason why whatsoever Lucid cannot test at least that 21-day EMA at 1784 and maybe a possible move to 18. So let's take a look at the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for Lucid. So scrolling down on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at the recent filings we have here for the 25th, we actually have quite a bit. So we have IWP iShares Russell Mid Cap Growth ETF that purchased just over 1.7 million shares, and we also have iShares Russell 1000 Growth ETF that purchased just over 1.6 million shares. We also have Principal Variable Contracts Fund Inc. that purchased 1,769 shares, and we also have Fidelity that purchased 58,613 shares. We have Master Investment Portfolio that purchased 316,646 shares. We have TIIA Separate Account that purchased 14,895 shares. We have iShares Russell that purchased 93,311 shares. We also see it again, they purchased 67,303 shares. We also have iShares again with two more positions, one that was just over 1.48 million shares and another one that was just under 390,000 shares. We also see QCRQRX that purchased 274,188 shares. We have iShares Russell again 3,000 that purchased 140,787 shares, and we also have AQR that has a short position of 10,000 shares, and we have Ohio National Fund Inc. that purchased 3,020 shares. Now, when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 53.94%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 2.43 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 550,000, updated 29 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 8.06%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 23rd, it is at 57.18, and then for the close of the 24th, being at 53.94. So it has gone down a bit, but when we take a look at the short interest percentage of the float being at 20.86%, Lucid does continue to have short squeeze potential. And it was great to see that it was able to pull off a green day. We know that Tesla did have their stock split, and seeing that the tech sector showed a lot of strength and Lucid was able to benefit, I know many of you are excited about. So I'm definitely going to be interested to see what Lucid does going into tomorrow, since we do have PCE and Jerome Powell that's going to be speaking. Let's take a look at SOFI. Let's take a look at SOFI SOFI. So we ended up closing at $6.69, being up 3.72%. On the low, it tested $6.39, and then on the high, testing $6.72. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 52.542 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 54.709 million shares. So you can see we did have below average volume, but we still saw some strength in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, we are still trading below all of our major moving averages, but we were able to close just above the 9 EMA. So we're actually got above one of our major moving averages. It is at $6.68, and SOFI closed at $6.69. So this is a really good sign. We also did form a higher low on the day. We didn't get a higher high, but we could still get to that next level, which I'm going to talk about going into tomorrow. So what you want to watch? You want to watch $6.80. If we can get a break above $6.80, which is right where we have the 50 EMA, we can gain momentum above the 21-day EMA, which is at $6.83, and then seeing if SOFI can make another test going to $7. If it gains more momentum, that's where we can start seeing it wanting to go to $7.50. Will this happen in one day? Of course not. But if we have momentum coming into the markets, I want you guys to watch that $7 level very closely. And if we don't get there, then watch the 680 level. Now, if we decide to have a bearish move, so we want to have a pullback, that means that we have to be breaking that low not only for today, but from the previous day. And the reason why this is important to know is that we have a gap that needs to be filled at $6.25. So if SOFI comes down to fill into this gap, then I'd want to see it wanting to move up. Maybe bulls might be more confident to buy into the play. They are confident at this point from what I am seeing, but this is a level that I just want to make sure that you guys are adding to your notes. If we come down here and we have a further pullback, then we see that we have support right at this $6 level, and breaking through 6, that's where we can test $5.75. But just taking a look quickly at our stochastics from down below, it looks like we are going to have some more momentum coming into this stock, and let's see what happens going into tomorrow. But so far, SOFI is looking pretty good. Let's take a look at the short interest. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for SOFI. So scrolling down on the page, green rows indicate new positions, while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at the recent filings we have here for the 25th, we have equity index account class that purchased 410,032 shares, and we also have stock account class R1 that purchased 72,780 shares. We also see for the next filing, we have iShares Russell with 3 different positions. The first one was just over 64,000. The next one was just over 2.2 million. And we have the other one that is just over 2.28 million. And then we also see another position of just over 1.64 million. That should say almost 1.65 million. We also have master investment portfolio that purchased 473,516 shares. iShares again with 2 more positions. One that was 215,110 shares, and the next one being at 583,004 shares. And we also have TIAA separate account that purchased 22,427 shares, and those are the filings for the 25th. Good amount of institutions loading up. Now when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 43.40%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 20.95 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 10 million, updated just now, and then for the short borrow-free rate, it is at 1.11%. When we take a look at the history, the short volume, we can see for the close of the 23rd, it was at 44.78, and then for the close of the 24th, being at 43.40. So it just went down a little bit, and then when we take a look at the short interest percentage of the float being at 15.19%, SOFI does continue to have short squeeze potential. And that pretty much sums up the video. And like I was saying for Lucid, we do have some big news that's coming out tomorrow. We have the PCE data, we already have the GDP numbers that came out, and we also have Jerome Powell that is going to be speaking. So there will be a lot of volatility inside of the markets, but it was great to see that SOFI did pretty good for today, but we want to see that move going to $7. And if you're new to this channel and you enjoyed this video, consider pressing the subscribe button. And if you found a lot of value in the content, make sure that you hit the like button. I'll be talking to you guys real soon.